1 year before the big graduation day. A gallon of gas was 91 cents and I couldn't stop listening to Guns N' Roses. Big Hair was in. Speaking of Big Hair, I could afford to see Big twice at the movies because tickets were $3.50. Welcome to the summer of 1988. Life was good to me that particular year. My first car was a 1971 Volvo. My brother Larry tried his best to make me believe it was a cool car. Looks a lot like a Mercedes, he told me. I believe it lasted about a week before falling apart on the way to work one day. I ended up buying Larry's 1985 white Cutlass with a vinyl roof. I'm guessing he gave me a good deal because he felt bad about the Mercedes. That Cutlass was sweet. The first thing I did was purchase some shiny rims and install a decent radio. Summertime, here I come. My group of friends were the best. We may not have been the most popular kids around, but we had swag. I surrounded myself with a pretty smart bunch of guys. They say if you hang out with the wrong crowd, people automatically assume you're some sort of a hoodlum. I'm not sure if there's any truth to that. I can, however, tell you that when you hang with the smart kids, everyone believes you're a genius. This put me in some awkward situations. I spent a lot of time trying to convince my peers to cheat off someone else because they were going to fail. So I was classified as one of the nerds. I was totally all right with this. Let's be honest, I could have been called much worse, so I wore it as a badge of honor. Looking back, the title of dork would have fit me much better anyway. A young man can only sit around with his buddies talking about girls so long before finally working up the nerve to make a real move. Trust me, we talked about the opposite sex all the time. Sure, we hung out, we went to Funland, that was an arcade, and we worked the bowling skills often. We were teenage boys, so we were amazing at multitasking. I could pick up a spare easily while talking about Cindy, who I would finally talk to this year. I could break my old Gallagher record while describing how perfect we would be together. The whole group knew it was all talk. Each one of us was guilty. None of us could ever work up the nerve to ask a girl out. I guess when a guy beats himself down so much, it has the opposite effect sometimes. We get to the point of totally giving up, then something beautiful happens. Inspiration hits us like a fat kid hits the candy store and we finally grow a set. I had made up my mind to make the call. I was not going to wait for the new school year to start. I was prepared to start my very first summer romance with her, with Cindy. I could read a phone book. I knew what street she lived on. We had entered the friend zone my junior year, so I had a few details. This was way before Facebook, so I had to do things the hard way. I dialed the first digit with confidence. Okay, Google rotary phone if you don't know what that is. By the time I was on the last couple of numbers, my confidence was barely strong enough to hold the receiver to my ear while I dialed. I recall how mortified I was when the ring sounded off. I can remember saying to myself, she must not be home, and prepared to hang up. With each ring, I relaxed a little bit more, thinking she would not answer. Out of nowhere, I hear the sweetest sound on the other end. Hello, she said. Immediately, I slammed the phone down. That was enough. That was it. My heart was pounding. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. Damn it, I'm such a loser. Looking back at the summer of 1988, I realized how wonderful it truly was. I had my friends. I had the car. I was invincible. Maybe I didn't have the nerve to call Cindy, but that gave me one more summer with my buddies to build memories I will never forget. It's a shame we can't recognize the good old days while we're living in them. I wouldn't change a thing about my summer. I did finally work up the nerve to ask her out, but that's a story for another time.